Hi, I'm Streaky. Today I'm reviewing the Spl Pq Mastering Equalizer. So this is the Spl Pq Mastering EQ, a lot of Qs going on. It's a straightforward parametric EQ in the same kind of fashion as a GML or a Maselec compressor. It's about 5,000 in the same kind of ballpark as a Maselec. GMLs go crazy to about 11, I think. But this has two EQs in one. It's as a standard constant Q, which is one of them, which is exactly the same as the Maselec, which basically has the Q factor, the filter, where the frequency, and the amount of gain or reduction you want to put on there. And then, so this is straightforward. You make the Q wider or narrower depending on how much, what you want to do and what frequency. The frequency range bands are really actually quite good. There's quite a scope of differences in each one, which so you can kind of grab most of them. The only bummer about it is it doesn't have any shelving EQs, where something like the Maselec you can shelve all the way on every channel. It would be nice. I do miss it when I was using it, although I've got plenty of others on other bits of equipment. But I think if you're paying this sort of money, then you'd probably want something like that on the lower band and upper band at least. So it's quite confusing. When I first started using it, it's quite confusing to use. It took me a while to get my head around it. They're stepped pots on them, but they're kind of rotary. I don't know if you can hear that. They're not, which is what I'm used to. So it's more a question of me being a bad user than this, because this is nice, but it's just what I'm used to and I like to click in. And I think that these are, it's quite tight and quite fiddly. Each one is like a little tiny little nudge, and then it's got this quarter gain switch at the top. So obviously, if you're on half, then you're really on quarter. If you're on one, you're on half. That takes a bit of getting your head around. I'm not that stupid, but it's just 1, 2, 3, or half thing. It's just, it goes up to 20. So I'd rather it just went up to 10, and I had just half steps. Don't worry about that. I mean, the only thing I can say about that, so maybe I'd go up in quarter steps, because I could actually hear the quarter steps on this bit of equipment, which surprised me. But by doing quarter steps, I could actually really pinpoint some stuff. So it was really handy from that point of view. You never get quarter steps on anything. So great, but I don't know. I'd just lose the button and just tell me, give me 4 between 0 and 1, and then carry on. I'm sure that's, I'm never putting 20 dB on anything. I suppose if you're using it in a recording application, you probably might do, but it's a mastering EQ, so I don't need 20. Anyway, I digress. The good thing I really like about it is you can turn the channels on and off, which is really good. I like that on the GML. The Maselec doesn't have that, so that's great. It's so going back onto the other type of EQ it's got one called a proportional Q. So by this also takes a bit of getting used to, the turning on and off. So this is just on and off, and then this switches with the blues. The blues mean it's in proportional mode, which I still don't understand. The guide is really, I don't know, it needs to tell it. As somebody coming straight to it, I need to have examples. So do this on this sort of thing and it does that. Yes, I can hear, but I want to know straight away. There's nowhere online saying about it. My application of it was in the top end, if you're on a really wide queue and you put it in, as you start turning up, the bandwidth gets smaller. So it's just weird. I mean, it's kind of more creative. You've got to play with it. It's very hard to explain. I guess that's why they haven't explained it, but I don't know. It's a bit much. But it gives you 2 EQs in one, and I'm sure that there's some, if you had longer with it, I've only had it a couple of weeks, so I haven't really had a lot of time to really delve into it and find the right applications for it. So if anybody out there has and can tell me, I'd be really interested. So it's handy, 2 EQs in one, always a winner. It sounds really nice, it's really clean, it's not got any kind of flavour, so to speak, of its own. So it's not a curve bender, it's not a Manley in the same application. It's, if you've got a Masalek or a GML, this is kind of an alternative to those, which is why I mentioned them earlier. So I think that it's a great competitor to those, especially as you get 2 EQs in one, on and off, no shelving. But it's got this other thing on it, which is a auto bypass. Now I didn't find a way of using this, but I had it on to start with and thought it was broken because it kept clicking and then kept going in and out, which is obviously what it does. It's so that you don't have to keep pushing it in and out. But as an engineer and somebody that is used to clicking stuff in and out to bypass it, I don't really have a use for that. I just want it to be on or off when I decide, not when it decides or when it's there. I just couldn't find a use for that. There's a link option here, but that doesn't link everything to the other side. It only links, I think it only links the frequency. It doesn't link the gain or vice versa. It's really annoying. It's just like, what's the point? Because like I say, it's got these little steps here, so they're a bit fiddly. So yeah, great if I can link that and just have to worry about one, because when I'm looking at the other one, then I'm looking in and I'm thinking, oh, is that right? Because it's quite difficult to tell. They're not bang on the dot there. So you don't know if you're 1/4 of a dB out or not. So then you're like, I don't know, is that right or is that wrong? So it takes a bit of time to set up, and that's annoying. I just want to be in, out, yeah, better, bit more, bit less, done. I don't want to be kind of like fiddly, because by the times I've done that, the part of the track that I'm wanting to listen to and make the change on is gone. Got to rewind it, do it again, blah, blah. So it's fiddly. And so if the link the whole lot. I don't want to just link half. I'm sure there's a reason. I'm sure there's an application where that works and that's a good idea, but not for me. I just like really simple. It's just really simple, easy to use bits of equipment. So I just want to be able to turn that one. I know it's doing that side, so I can forget about that side. I'm sure there's loads of applications for it. I'm sure there's loads of ways to use it, but I've only had it a couple of weeks. I just want to get on with it and see how it sounds. It sounds great. It's lovely. It really is. It's very smooth, very analog, very warm in the low end. I like that. I like the sound of it. I would definitely have one. There's no way I'd not have one. I think it's a nice EQ. If you've got Masalek stuff, no need. I'd probably go for something. I always like to have a very clean EQ that's very clinical and very good for getting the job done or notching out and stuff like that, where it's not getting involved in the music, it's just doing what it needs to do frequency wise. And then I would like another one that's, say, like a curve bender or a Manley or, you know, a Summit or something that's got tubes in or whatever, just to warm things up, give a bit of colour, a bit of flavour, just so that if I need that, if I want some nice sort of tubey top or warmth or things like that, then that's there in that EQ. And then this is a kind of workhorse EQ, if you like. So as a workhorse EQ, it's really nice. It's really good. I think the price point's good as well for 5,000 for the 2 EQs. I'm sure if you've got it for a long period of time, you're going to get into all these things that I found niggly to start with. I'm sure you're going to get into these, learn ways of using it and applications of how you can get the most out of it, but it's probably a bit of a learning curve, and it'll take you a while of sitting with it and just getting into it. It's not just straightforward, however straightforward it looks. So there you go. That's the Spl Pq. I'm Streaky. If you've not been here before, then please subscribe. I'm always reviewing equipment, pro audio stuff. I'm talking about mastering and mixing, how to get better sound. I'm listening to speakers. I'm basically talking about anything to do with sound. So please subscribe, and then you'll get a warning when I'm about to throw another one up. If you've got any questions, please put them in the comments. Please like the video and share it if you think it was good. And thanks for watching. Until next time, bye.